Hello, and welcome to today's lesson on translations on a coordinate grid. Please remember to fill out your template as you watch this exciting lesson. Here we have an example of a coordinate grid, and you can see that we've labeled our vertical axis y and our horizontal axis x. Now, before we start describing the translation or the slide of our objects, we have to go over a couple things. The first of which is we need to remember that the image of a point can be named using prime symbol. So we see here A prime, which is our example right down there, written as A prime, and prime is that little dash that I've written right there. That's an example of a prime. And if we were to read that, it reads as A prime. So that helps us when we determine which was the original shape and which one was the translated image. So if we look at our picture in the top right hand corner, ask yourself which one was the original image and the original shape, and which one is the image. And we use that prime to help us. We see here that our blue triangle has the primes as their points are labeled. So that tells us that it was the image in our original triangle was the red one, because there are no primes indicating that it's an image. So that was our original triangle. Now we're going to try to describe the translation that occurred with this quadrilateral. So again, we use the same strategy we just discussed on the last page, and we determine which of these shapes is the original. And again, it's the red one, because we don't see any primes on our letters that label the vertices. And we want to figure out how far that image has been translated. So we pick one of the points, and I'm going to select L. And we see that it's been translated downward. So on a coordinate grid, we're going to count the number of spaces. So this image has been translated down. Sorry, just having some technical difficulties. It's been translated down 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, because I moved down 4 spaces to go from the original point, L, to its translated image, L prime. Now we can pick any point as long as we select its corresponding letter. So I've done that for L, and we can do it again for N, and it doesn't matter which one we do it for. We are going to find that we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, in this case, to go from N to N prime. So that means our translation for this quadrilateral is 4 units, or in this case, spaces down. On this page, we have another example, but you can see that our image has been translated, and it just hasn't moved left or right, it's also moved up or down. So again, we look at our shapes, and like in the last example, our red triangle is our original triangle, and we want to see how far it's been translated to the image. So I'm going to pick point R, and I'm first going to move. I see that it moves to the left, and I'm going to count the units. 1, 2, 3 units left, and we're not at the translated image yet, or R prime, so now we have to go from there, and we have to count upwards. So we move 3 units left, and we moved 1 unit up. So this triangle, PQR, has been translated 3 units left and 1 unit up. Again, you can test that with any of the points as long as you select the corresponding vertice. So let's do it one more time, this time with P. We move 1, 2, 3 units left and 1 unit up. So if we were describing this translation, we would describe it as a translation 3 units left, 1 unit up. Now I'm going to give you an opportunity to describe this translation. So attempt to describe it using the terms we've used in our 2 examples to explain the translation or describe the translation of this quadrilateral. So again, I hope you looked for the original shape. And again, in all our examples today, they're red, but that might not always be the case. So we have to see which of the shapes were labeled with the primes, and we see that it's the blue one. And that tells us that our original quadrilateral was red. I'm going to use E and count the number of units to get to E prime. I'm going to start by moving 2 units to the right and 1 unit down. So I'm hoping that's what you got. Now, I'm going to check it with D this time, and it doesn't matter if I go left or right or up or down first. So in this case, let me use the vertical change, and this one goes 1 unit down, and then it moves 2 units to the right. So it doesn't matter the order that you use to describe it, but we know that this one went 2 right and 1 down. And conversely, we could say it the other way, like we did when we checked it, and that would be the same as saying 1 down and 2 to the right. So the order does not matter as long as you describe both of the movements. Our last example is slightly different. In this case, we've been given our original triangle, ABC, and we've been asked to move it 3 units to the right and 2 units down. And then we need to draw the translated image. So you can see with the arrows that are on this diagram at the top that the point A has been moved 1, 2, 3 units right, and then 1, 2 units down. And it's been labeled with A prime. And you'll notice in this example, they've done that for each of the corresponding vertices. So C, and I'm not going to draw the lines this time, but has also been moved 3 units to the right and 2 units down. And the point has been labeled C prime. And then B has also been moved the same distance, 3 units right, 2 units down. Again, you can see that with the arrows. And then the last step, you can see what they've done at the bottom here, is they have drawn the new translated triangle. So you can see that it's labeled A prime, B prime, C prime. And if you were to check, you would see that it's 1, 2, 3 units right and 1, 2 units down. So we say that this image has been translated 3 units to the right and 2 units down. So sometimes you're given the triangles and you have to describe the translation. Sometimes you're given the translation, like we are in this case, and you have to draw the image. So I hope this lesson has been helpful and you can use it tomorrow in class. Thank you for your attention, and don't forget to bring in that template that you filled out. Feel free to return to any parts of the lesson and repeat it. Good day.